It's a common request in the job application process, a credit check, but is that working against some potential employees? Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren thinks it is, and she's trying to take the personal credit history check out of the job search. She's introduced a bill that would ban just those checks, and she's joining us now from Washington to talk about this bill. Senator, thanks for joining us.
Good to be here.
Now, it's called the Equal Employment for All Act. Why do you feel it's unfair for employers, potential employers, to be using a credit check as part of the job search process?
Well, understand the reason why most people have damaged credit history. They've had a serious medical problem in the family, and that's gotten them into some trouble on paying bills. They've lost a job, and they may have fallen behind on some of their bills. Or they've had a family breakup, either a divorce or a death in the family. Those are the principal reasons that people have some problems in their credit reports. And those problems stay in their credit reports for 7 years, in some cases even longer. And employers are using them to screen people out. But here's the thing. There's new studies out showing there is little or no correlation between having a problem with credit and whether or not you can get out and do a job. So basically what this is about basic fairness, saying, look, people get out there, they compete for jobs they're qualified for, let them compete based on the merits, not on whether or not they're having a problem paying their bills.
Well, some business lobbying groups have said that, this type of thing can help potential employers screen out people who are living beyond their means or who perhaps could be potential fraud, defraud some of their customers or even embezzle the companies. How do you answer those concerns?
Well, the first thing I start with is there's actually been a serious study about this. And what the study shows is that there is no correlation here. So, they can assert it, but there's no evidence to show that that's true. But there is some evidence to show who more often gets screened out. More often it screens out women. More often it screens out seniors, more often it screens out students, and more often it screens out minorities. Why? Because they're more likely to get hit in certain kinds of credit crunches. For example, following a divorce, a woman is more likely to end up with trouble in her credit score or a change in her credit score than a man is. And using that to keep her out of employment that she is otherwise qualified for, that just seems to me to be fundamentally unfair. People are trying to get back to work. They ought to have a shot at doing that.
Now, even as it stands now, though, a potential employee does have to give that potential employer permission to access their credit report. Simply saying no isn't enough?
Certainly not, because the way it is now, employers can say, well, if you say no, you don't even get considered. So this is really about a fundamental form of discrimination. Can you say to someone, let me see your credit record or I won't even consider you for this job, and then look at the credit record and say, gee, you've had some trouble paying your bills. You're off the table. I'm moving on to the next person.
Now, I see you've got...
I just don't think that's right.
I see you've got several Democrats on board with you, Blumenthal from Connecticut, Brown from Ohio, Leahy from Vermont, your junior senator here in Massachusetts, Markey. Any Republicans signing on to this?
So we've just gotten started, but we're out there talking to a lot of people. Here's what's interesting. There are a lot of folks who didn't even know that you could do this legally, didn't know that it was going on. So we're out there, all of us, who got started early on this, and we're talking to people on both sides of the aisle, because do understand, this isn't a problem that just hits Republicans or that just hits Democrats. This is a problem hitting people who are facing a hard enough job market as it is. They just want a chance to compete.
Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.